Hey, you guys, this is Professor Vitt, and I'm just going to go over very briefly this critical thinking toolkit. I'm going to start at the beginning and then sort of jump around. This should give you an overview of the course and kind of how we work this course as a roadmap. So every course has a roadmap, a set of concepts that are basic to all of it. And our course is no different. So the first thing that we're going to do is be specific on a claim being made. So if somebody makes a claim that they are psychic, or they can move stones with their mind, or they can predict the future, or they can see objects in space and time simply by meditating on them, then you want to get a claim like that, and you want to be very specific in how it's worded. So let's say I want to claim that UFOs are real. Well, I need to be clear on what I'm saying. Certainly unidentified flying objects are real. We see unidentified flying objects in the sky all the time. What do we mean by UFO, right? And what do we mean by real? Real in the mind of the observer, that there is something out there that is an object that is not man-made, or, So you want to be specific on the claim that's being made, and you want to be as specific as possible so that you can possibly test the claim. All right, so the eye looking down here is looking to see what the specific claim is. Next up, we have David Hume over here, and David Hume on the left-hand side of your screen. And Mr. Hume is famous for saying a wise man, person, proportions evidence to the belief. And the idea here is, Mr. Hume's language notwithstanding, if I say something pretty crazy, I'm going to need some crazy evidence to back it, right? So if I tell you I have a pizza in my fridge or in my freezer in the garage, this is probably not very unusual, right? I have kids, they like pizza, we often need to make something in a hurry, something like that. It's nothing very extraordinary about someone having a pizza in their garage freezer. But suppose instead I tell you that I have the frozen corpse of Teddy Roosevelt in my garage. Okay, if I just tell you that, that's probably not going to be enough to believe it, right? But in the case of the frozen pizza in the garage, probably would work. So maybe you'd want to see some documentary evidence, something that was produced at the time that Teddy Roosevelt died that said, oh, he wasn't buried, instead he was frozen and he was put in a freezer in a house in Rancho Cucamonga, right? Then you'd want to see if there's any physical evidence that corroborates or matches up or links up with, corresponds to the story I've told. So is it actually, are there maybe physical pictures or videos of Teddy Roosevelt's corpse in my garage? Is the claim open to inspection? Am I allowing you guys to come over to my house and take a peek? Right? And am I saying you can only do this once? Or am I saying you can bring whoever you want to come over and investigate its authenticity, right? So the greater the claim, the more evidence you're going to need to require it. So, is it something that's rare? Is it something that happens in a blue moon? Is something that's occurring contrary to what we know about science, right? Is it contrary to everyday experience? Some extraordinary claims that we run into are contrary to the laws of nature as we understand them, and so they kind of require great evidence to be substantiated. So think of it almost like a teeter-totter or a scale where, the crazier the claim, the more the evidence you need to support it. Okay, then you summarize the available evidence, right? What is it? And this depends on the claim being made, whether it's Mothman or Bigfoot or psychic powers or whatever, right? You would summarize it. And then you'll apply two principles. And the first one is called Occam's razor. And essentially it's just asking, what is the simplest explanation? So, what's the simplest thing? Well, the simplest explanation is that Professor Vitt is lying, right? He just doesn't have Teddy Roosevelt's corpse in his garage because Teddy Roosevelt is buried in such and such a place. Absurd claims, is the claim result in an absurd consequence? In other words, push this claim all the way, right? Here's a little dancing chicken, okay? A dead dancing chicken. That's absurd. Push this claim all the way. If Teddy Roosevelt's frozen body is in there, then there must be some kind of conspiracy involved in Teddy Roosevelt's, burial and so forth. And so we'd have to actually, is that possible? Probably not. And then at the end, you say, well, gosh, did the person making the claim meet this burden of proof? If they met the burden of proof, then yes, you can say the claim is accepted. If they did not meet the burden of proof, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that the claim has been disproven. It just means they haven't supplied enough evidence. So maybe I tell you that Teddy Roosevelt is in my garage. I didn't meet the burden of proof by telling you that, by just supplying a story about it. I would need more evidence. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means I just haven't met the burden of proof. He could very well be in there. You're not sure yet. You don't know. So just keep in mind, just because somebody doesn't meet the burden of proof, hold on. Hold on, buddy. Hold on, buddy. Okay, so that solves it. That's just an overview, you guys, to give you guys a feel for the course. Just a short, brief video. I hope it is helpful.